Welcome back. Welcome back to the Cheron Moore Show. As you know, I'm your host, Cheron Moore. Today, I'm just extremely excited to have my guest on the show today, hailing from out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, celebrating the release of her new album, I will say, Definition of a Woman. Will you help me welcome Tanqueray Hayward? Hey, you.
Hey.
Welcome to the Cheron Moore Show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I want to, as we said before, I want to go all the way back. You started singing in church?
Started singing in church. The earliest I remember was 5. I remember having my first solo at the age of 7. The song was called He's Still Working on Me. So, yeah.
What was that like, singing in church with all your people and friends? And do you remember those days?
Oh, yeah. My grandfather was the chairman of the deacon board, so everybody knew who little Tanqueray was.
I was reading that some of your influences back in those days were Mary J. Blige, Whitney Houston, Clark Sisters, Aretha Franklin, and so forth. What did the Clark Sisters bring to you? They were awesome.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you know what? I actually just found out about the Clark Sisters like 1998, 99. I said, where have I been? And I think just because they have kind of like that jazzy edge and just, it's like a more modern type, even though it's gospel music, but it was just like the runs and stuff that they did. Like, it was just stuff that it's like, oh, I do this too. Like, I just felt like I related to them with their music. So I just love them.
Yeah. You actually have a testimony from those early years. Mm-hmm. Could you share a little bit of that with us, please?
Yeah, sure. So back when I was 4, from what I remember, I was molested by a family member. And it went on all the way till the age of 9, where I was, actually bold enough to speak up about it.
And what happened then when you spoke up about it?
Well, the interesting thing was, by that point, my mother had already left him. So, I was there visiting his parents and everything. And so we just kind of, moved on. My mother was very upset. I think she was, she definitely was upset with me because I waited so long, but, I was scared. But she believed me. And I think a lot of times, you have situations where, you try to tell your mom or your dad or whatever, and they don't believe you. And so at least I had that. So, yeah.
Do you ever get an apology for that? Or how did you deal with it psychologically as you got older?
I kind of suppressed it, but no, never got an apology. So I suppressed it, and it actually came back. Interesting thing was, when I was away at college, I started having all these nightmares, and I think that's probably too why, I'd rather be by myself. I was very overprotective with my daughter, especially when, because I was with her for about 6 months before I actually went back to work. And I was very nervous about leaving her with people. And I finally had to, like, okay, you gotta get out. Like, you can't have her with you. She can't go with you everywhere. And so you gotta have somebody that you trust, And now the good thing is she's at a point where she'll tell me everything. So, which is a good thing. But I was very overprotective of her, because of that.
Going back to singing, did you do any secular singing around that time also?
No, I didn't actually start any of this until 2013, Cheron. I've sang in church all my life up until 2013. I was invited to a birthday party, and a lot of local Philadelphia talent was there, along with a live band. And this particular birthday party, he wanted a jam session, and he said, you got to go out there. I'm having a lot of people. I want you to sing. So this was somebody I went to high school with that knew that, I sang. And so I sang my song, which was, do you remember the movie The Color Purple?
Oh, yeah.
So when Suge Avery was in the juke joint, she sang Sister to Sealy. So his name was Mr. So I sang, the same song, but I put Mr. So after that, everybody's like, oh my God, who is this? And from there, some of the guys in the band had asked me, to do some events in Philly. So that's how I got started. I started, mainly singing cover songs. And then from there, I started meeting other people and started networking. And then a year later, I'm having my own show and people paying to come see me. So it's been exciting.
Let's go back to, you mentioned high school, Overbrook High School. What was the scene back there?
Well, of course, Wilt Chamberlain went there. So, you see his pictures and all, but, Overbrook was great. It was known as being a high school. It was it was known as being a fashion show. I wasn't a part of that, so I kind of got teased a little bit, but I ran track. So I didn't get it too much because I was one of the best track athletes at the school, from the school, and so, but it was a great school, had a lot of great pride, and they call it the school up on the hill. So it was great times. I had great memories.
Did you do any singing in any of the choirs or any of the singing?
No, I actually sang. I used to sing in the lunchroom. So people used to gather around in the lunchroom. I didn't sing officially for the school until my high school graduation.
Take me to college. Was there college years?
Yes, Louisiana State University. So I received a track scholarship, and Louisiana State University was one of the best schools in the country, Division I school for track and field. So I was able to, do that. I only stayed there a year. I ended up flunking out. And then I came back to Philly and tried to decide what I was going to do with my life. So it was kind of embarrassing because, again, here it is. You have the #1 athlete in the state, #1 athlete in the city. All these people know you, and then, you're home now. So they have this big event called the Penn Relays. And I remember, I did not go to any more of those events after that because, again, I was just more so ashamed. So then trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And I ended up going back to school in the healthcare field. And of course I was very nervous because, again, I flunked out in college. So I was very nervous, but I found something in that program that I really, really liked and ended up graduating with a 4.0. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I actually teach the same school that I went to. I actually teach at a similar school now. So I've been teaching for the past 10 years.
This part I thought was interesting. You took a leap of faith and got out of the medical field and got into your singing. Tell me about that moment leading up to that. That just didn't happen like that. What was it, and where did it come from, and how did you have the courage to take the leap?
So I got kind of tired of working all these weekends, or sometimes I would go sing and then I'd be changing in the car to get to work because I worked third shift. I worked overnight. And so I finally decided, you know what? I'm teaching part-time and I'm working here full-time. I'm going to leave this full-time job and I'm just going to try to do it because I really wanted to sing. Once I got a taste of it, I really wanted to go for it.
Is this around the time you had your child?
I had found out I was having her not long after I quit.
Okay.
It was a couple months afterwards. Yep. So yeah, it definitely wasn't in the plan. The plan was to focus on singing.
Facebook. Let's talk about this. Recording backgrounds for Pink. How did that come about?
Yeah, so that was fun. The song is called I Am Here. And so one of the Philadelphia legendary producers, Bill Jolly, called me and asked me if I would like to be a part of it. So I was a part of, it was me and 29 other people. So he basically created a choir to sing as a part of, sing part of the song. And so it was exciting. Pink was great. That was my first time, ever recording for something big like that. I called out of work. My supervisor was like, go, 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 because I didn't know if I was going to have another chance to do that again.
What does this name mean to you? Make sure I say it right. Key Jam Magic?
Motivator, inspiring, just an all-around good person. And he does a lot to help independent artists, and he helps with the independent movement over there.
You have so much great credit and exposure over in the UK. Why you didn't decide to move over there or take advantage of just get over there?
Well, when I Well, no, I mean, I love Philly, so I'll probably be over here, but I really didn't know too much about the UK scene. My producer, TL Scheider, he knew one of the DJs over there. So, when I recorded the song This Thing, he sent it to the DJ and then it just took off from there. They've been very supportive. They're just awesome people between the DJs, the presenters, the fans. Like, they just love good music. And
I ask you this because the fans gonna want to know: are you single?
Yes, I am.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you want to be single?
No.
Are you on the market?
Well, I mean, I guess so. I'm single. Sure.
What do I tell all these guys that's gonna watch the show that's gonna say, Cheron, put me in touch, Cheron?
As long as they, just be nice when they come out, send me a message, that's fine, because I'll block them in a minute.
Do they have
it's all about the approach. It's all about the approach.
That's everything. Do they have to be saved?
Of course.
What if he's not saved and he cute?
That don't mean nothing, man.
I'm just joking with you. Let's talk about your debut song, This Thing. Woo, how did that come about?
Well, that was one of the first tracks with TL Scheider that I really wanted to work on. I love the music. And I actually, when we was like writing it, I'm like, okay. And then the song ended up being totally different than what I thought it was going to be.
How did you happen to call it this THANG thing?
Well, it's a thing. It's the difference between you have a thing going on and you got a thing going on. When it's that thing, you in love. This thing, it's okay. No, this thing, it's a thing right here. That means that when you mad, you on the couch, but you ain't going nowhere. That's that thing.
You better speak it, girl.
Yes.
Were you surprised when it went #1 on the urban UK soul charts?
I was. I wasn't familiar with any of the charts or anything, so I was just learning as I, went along. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I done made the chart. All right. So it's always exciting to see your name.
The single, This Kind of Love, how did that come about? It went #3 on the UK charts.
Yeah, so that song was the second song that I recorded. So by that point, my producer and I, we had finished this thing, and then we pretty much had gotten more of a flow together. So I wrote the song and recorded all the backgrounds and everything in 4 hours.
What?
That song was done in one session.
And where did the inspiration for the title come from, This Kind of Love?
Well, I knew it was going to be about love just from the music. And as we were singing, as I was singing it and writing the words, that's just what, came out. So
I want to take a sidebar for a second from the music and talk about your name, Tanqueray.
Yeah.
Is it named after the liquor, after the drink?
My mother said I was top shelf. You can't buy me on the floor at the state store. But yes.
He named you after the bottle of liquor, Tanqueray.
Bottle of gin, yes. And it's great gin. I mean, I don't know. I don't drink it, but yes, and I love my name. The only thing, with that, I was the only one around named Tanqueray. So they knew if something was happening, they said my name, they knew it was me. So I had to stay out of trouble.
What's it like growing up with that name? I mean, you grew up with that name.
Well, you know what? Nobody really paid it any mind when I was a kid. But when Snoop Dogg came out with Gin and Juice and said that line later on that day, my homie Dr. J came through with a gang of Tanqueray. I was telling everybody, yeah, he's singing about me. He's singing about me. And so they were like, you don't know Snoop. I'm like, he was singing about me. Now, when I got older, and maybe, the adults was waiting until I got old enough, but then I started, kind of getting the remarks and, oh, it's your sister named Bombay and blah, all this other kind of crazy stuff. Tanqueray and tonic, Tanqueray and orange juice. Like, oh my gosh.
Sound like you've learned to live with it.
I had to, because I was going to cuss everybody out. If I didn't, I'd be cussing everybody out every day.
Winner of New Artist Award. Mm-hmm. What was that?
For Soul Tracks. Soultracks.com. It's one of the big sites for, just putting out music. They do a lot of stories on artists. They put out a lot of information on music. And so they have written a couple articles about my music. And so I was voted New Artist of the Year. So that was exciting. That award I do have.
Is it nearby? You can show it to us?
Yes, I can.
Oh, you just happen to have it there, huh?
Yes, I do. And so it's a nice crystal.
Wow.
Where it has my name, yes.
Hold it down a little bit. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
I want one.
So very yes, nice. I was so excited when I got it in the mail.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here we go. The debut album, Definition of a Woman.
Yes.
It was released March 26th of this year, 2021. I'm so excited to ask you, where did the title come from? Tell me about the recording session. Tell me everything about the album.
I was actually sitting right here in this seat when I thought about the title. And again, it just came to mind. I knew with each of the songs basically represented some sort of part of my life. So those songs basically define who I am. And so I am a woman. And so this album basically, I didn't want to say the definition of Tanqueray. I didn't want to do that. So definition of a woman, like every woman, is probably going through a lot of the same things that I've gone through. So I think that the music can relate to a lot of women out there. So that's why it was just woman versus Tanqueray.
What are you hearing back from the fans? What are you hearing back from the women?
A lot of great feedback. I haven't heard anything negative. Nothing negative at all. It was the highly anticipated independent album. So I was nervous leading up to it. Like, oh my gosh, I hope everybody likes it. My stomach was just in knots. And on midnight on the 26th, they were at my website downloading. Like they were there. So it's been great. It's been well received.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Caught Up, #1 for 3 weeks on the charts.
Mm-hmm. And that song's still getting play.
Is that from that album or a different?
It is. It is from the album. Yes.
Is that the first single?
That was the first single.
Caught Up. Caught up in what?
I was caught up with the 3 guys. That's what that song is about.
You mean one guy?
I was going out with one, and then I was going out with another, and then, I would go out here and there with another. And then I realized that none of them wanted, none of them was trying to do anything. So, I finally had to tell myself, like, you can't do this. Like, you are better than this. They're content with their life. You need to move on because you're not happy.
I don't know if I have this in the right chronological order, but you served in the Navy?
I'm still in.
What? How do you have time for the Navy with all of this stuff going on?
I'm in the reserves. So okay. I work 1 weekend a month. I have 25 months to go, so I'm counting down. So I'm going to retire.
What's your post? What's your rank?
So I'm an E6. I'm a first class petty officer, and I am a hospital corpsman. So I'm a medic.
I want to ask you if you would give a word of advice to the young up-and-coming singers, both female and male, but mostly to the young girls coming up. It's trying to get traction in this industry that maybe going through a bad scene, or what advice would you give to them, to some of the younger artists?
Follow your heart and work on your craft. Every day you should do something to help better yourself, whether it's practicing your vocals, writing, learning an instrument. You should always be, preparing yourself daily with what you're trying to do.
Thank you so very much for that.
Okay.
What do you want your legacy to be said as, to be told as?
My legacy. So, that I made people feel good through music, that I was encouraging, I was inspiring. When, it's like when you see the underdog, actually, get to the top, and just an encourager, and, just helping to continue that Philadelphia tradition. I definitely would love to be just a part of that,
Before I let you go, I want to ask you to do something for me.
Okay.
Would you sing a little bit for us? Can I get you to sing a little bit? Maybe a little bit of, what about Caught Up?
This one, sweet as can be. I love the way he holds me. But I know he's not ready for what I really need. So I'm caught up in my mind, caught up wasting time, caught up, you're not mine, caught up, must decide, caught up in my mind, caught up wasting time, caught up, you're not mine, caught up, must decide.
That's great. That's awesome. Caught up in my mind.
Thank you.
Let me say thank you so very much for being on the Cheron Moore Show.
Thank you for having me.
I really have enjoyed you. I really have enjoyed you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Will you help us wave goodbye to all the audience?
All right. Bye. Thank you for watching. See you soon.
And thank you.
The image in the mirror is you.